Hello, salam, sabona. Welcome to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Soraya Mentor. On this show, we get to chat to amazing Africans who've traveled beyond their home countries. It is all about celebrating culture and identity. This week, we will be finishing the season 2 of Africa Beyond Borders. Yes, we are very sad about that, but we'll be joining back on September, where you guys can catch more interesting guests coming to the show. For now, we'll be highlighting one of our favorite episodes that you guys interacted with, and we can't wait for you guys to see it. What if Africa's greatest stories haven't been told yet? Well, filmmaker Williams Ame is here to share his creativity through the camera in capturing Africa's beauty. I would love to know, from all of these countries that you've traveled to and filmed in as a filmmaker, which country has left the deepest impression in you, and could you share your story of that?
I think the deepest impression that have stayed with me in my little travels uh,
Oh.
is a place in Ghana called Lake Osuntwe. It's the biggest natural lake. When I got there, I almost broke down and started crying. Reason being that it seemed like heaven on earth. The clouds are
Mm.
almost touching the water. It was beautiful, you know, seeing the sunrise and the sunset. It's surrounded by mountains, and the lake was just there in its, exquisite beauty. And I was like, we have this amount of beauty here in Africa, and people are trying to run away. People are trying to what we call japa in Nigeria. Japa means
Mm-hmm.
relocate. This is
Japa.
too much. Really? Yeah, where did we get it from? How do we not learn to appreciate the beauty that lives, with us every day? That experience at that lake, in fact, every day if I go back to those moments, I spent 7 days there. I was filming it, I was appreciating every moment I spent there. It was one of the most beautiful. I've seen a lot of cultural people and places, but just being there in that lake was amazing. The people there, they reverence the lake, they treat the lake like a child. You know, it's one of the greatest impressions that I've had from travel.
That is very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'd love to know, you made a documentary in 2024 about Africa's untold beauty. Can you please take us through the filming process of that, and how was that experience like for you?
Right. So you say filming African untold beauty is like somebody asked me a question that uh was it a question or oh, it was a compliment. I was going to film a festival, And so we linked up. That's the way we connected. So the person I've been sending me message online for a while. So we just got to link up that day and attend the festival together. And she was just complimenting my work and we were like, I love the way you tell your stories. I love the way you use your lens to tell the story. I said, that's because I clean my lens. It was a little bit sarcastic. But then in that very moment, my response made me ponder a little bit. And I said, it is actually true that I clean my lens figuratively. Because at the end of the day, if you have a dirty lens, then your image will be distorted. Now, so many people come to Africa, they film Africa, with a distorted lens. That is why you see selective stories, you see narratives that are not representing the integrity, the strength, the beauty of Africa. And you keep wondering, why am I in this hellhole called Africa because of what you see about Africa, you know?
Wow.
But then, if it is, and so many times their lenses are stained with prejudice, with the need to film viral content, because if you want to film viral content, it must have a little bit of controversy. It must be to the extreme because negative stories goes viral easily. So if you want to favor algorithm, you select the kind of story you tell. So at the end of the day, algorithm train us to tell a particular kind of story that an audience who are addicted to the pain, who are addicted to the backwardness, the peril of Africa, the African sufferings, the African struggle. This global audience it is called trauma porn, who are addicted to this trauma Africa. They want to
Yes.
watch it, they want to consume it because it fits into a stereotypic narrative of Africa that they have. So the algorithm train content creators, train filmmakers to feed this audience. And guess what? Organizations take it a little step further by funding people to tell selected stories.
What happens when a Moroccan moves to America and then moves to Amsterdam? Don't worry anymore. We are joining Sabrina Alwardi as she's experiencing her cultural changes and here to share some exciting cultural shocks that she had.
Yeah, it's a good question, but I think I'm gonna have to cheat with the question a bit and kind of take you on a bit of a deeper journey there. When I moved to Europe, it was approximately, wow, 7 years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, during COVID and prior to COVID, I kind of had this travel bug, where you could kind of pretty much throw me in any country and I would challenge myself to adapt. So prior to moving to the Netherlands, I had been all over on both coasts of the US, to Mexico, to Canada, to deep in the heart of China, and kind of back to Spain and Italy and other pockets of Europe and Latin America as well. And so I was carrying a lot of this kind of Ibn Battuta baggage, as we talked about in the first half, with me. When I arrived to the Netherlands, funny enough, it felt like home within those first 24 hours, and Amsterdam did as well. But it also felt really unique and different as well. You're hit with kind of a mirage of really old architecture, really old bikes as well, and people just kind of biking to and fro in the city. And you kind of feel an interesting cultural dynamic. Like I feel like a lot of us from the African diaspora are super warm, we're super inviting. Our cultures are built on hospitality, on enriching each other, on growing each other and feeding each other. And when you come to the Netherlands, there is a little bit of that flavor, but it has a much kind of colder view in the positive way. So people are a lot more direct with you. People kind of challenge you to take more ownership by yourself. So I remember those first 24 hours. It felt like a really refreshing cold plunge where, okay, I can kind of dive into an interesting and different culture, try to challenge my way of thinking and kind of that warmth I bring, and see how I can develop myself. And yeah, 6 years later, I speak Dutch fluently. I've kind of gotten an understanding of the culture, and I realized that still there's so much to learn in this really, really tiny country. So yeah, that was my first 24 hours in Amsterdam, and the journey to Amsterdam was a lot of kind of accepting those nuances in travel for me.
Sabrina, that was absolutely beautiful. The fact that you said you felt at home when you came to Amsterdam, it felt similar to home. That is absolutely amazing. And you speak Dutch fluently. I mean, I could say something for 6 years. I'm not sure if I could pull that off as well as you did. From all your traveling adventures, I'd love to know which part really struck a chord in you. It doesn't even matter which country, but what was like a moment for you?
Oh, right. It's a good question. And to be honest, there's a lot. I think throughout my travels, it's not necessarily a single moment that stuck with me, but I think the philosophy that stuck with me is kind of what it means to be human and alive. And the truth behind that kind of really boils down to being able to be authentic with others and being able to connect with others. For me, I've always been Moroccan abroad, but being Moroccan abroad involves, shedding many snake skins, if you will. Sometimes you're European, sometimes you're non-European, sometimes you're Indigenous African, sometimes you're not, really depending on the context and the audience that you talk to. But throughout my travels, um, to Asia, to Europe, to pockets of South America, to pockets of North America as well. What I've always kind of enjoyed and reveled in is just that ability to be able to connect. So for me, it feels like a kind of cheating question if I focus on a single moment, because I always reflect on kind of the big and small groups of people that I've met, from kind of the shop owners at your local mom and pop shop in the neighborhood that you've been to, all the way to yeah, maybe these bigger career professionals that you're having a formal coffee chat with. For me, what sticks with me after all these years is kind of that meaning of what it means to be human and alive, which is to connect and to also give and when you connect as well.
3, 2, 1.
Are you looking for real conversations that matter? Join We Talk, where community voices become real issues, honest opinions, and powerful stories. From everyday challenges to inspiration solutions, this is your space to listen, learn, and speak up. Catch We Talk every Thursday on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25. You can also watch it on 1up2.com and NTV Africans. You don't want to miss the real issues because we are here to tell it for you. Every Thursday at 6:30.
Hello, salam, sabona. Welcome to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Soraya Mentor. On this show, we get to chat to amazing Africans who've traveled beyond their home countries. It is all about celebrating culture and identity. This week, we will be finishing the season 2 of Africa Beyond Borders. Yes, we are very sad about that, but we'll be joining back on September, where you guys can catch more interesting guests coming to the show. For now, we'll be highlighting one of our favorite episodes that you guys interacted with, and we can't wait for you guys to see it.
I'll start with Nigerian island, and I think there's some similarities. Like both of us were colonized by the British. The sense of family and community, and how very much other people determine kind of your choices and what's important, and the values are very. It looks different, but those are quite core. I find between island and and Nigeria. Even for example, there's this idea with the Irish mammy she's the mum, the matriarch of the house that has the power, and she makes sure things run. I think there's a very similar idea within the Nigerian context as well, of the woman of the house who does so much, probably more than she should. As well, music. I love Irish music. They're amazing singers. Again, similar to us, me as a Nigerian, our culture, our music, our song, poetry, languages as well. So my family's Yoruba. So my dad always used to, when he was alive, he used to tell me, Yoruba is poetry. Yoruba is poetry. And I can see that in it when I don't speak Irish, but I can see when I hear it and people explain in different terms. Even the way the Irish speak English, they very much made it their own, and there's certain phrases that they say that, like, I love this way they say like a million thank yous. That comes from their culture, so of saying so many thank yous to somebody. Even though certain terms, the way they describe things and people is, sometimes they say it in English, but it's very Irish. So I guess it's the same way we would do in Nigeria with our pidgin. So yes, we technically is using English words, but it's ours. We're using English to say what we want to say. So Ireland and Nigeria, I think because of our histories and things like that, with colonization and things like that, there's a lot of similarities. The UK, I think it's layered for me because there's the whole London culture, and London is very multicultural, many different people from different places. So you kind of tap into different communities and start understanding how they do things and how similar or not similar you are. I think for most places around the world, community, family, no matter what the culture is or what continent or where you're from, that is central to how your culture developed and things like that. I would say, in comparison to maybe the English, British, and Nigerian, is that we're definitely more vivacious. We're more ostentatious. Especially with our fashion, our clothes, and our parties and our things. So, like, we go out. Like, so if you're gonna have a party, no, it's not tea and biscuits. We're gonna kill the cow, the ram. It's gonna be meat. It's gonna be jollof rice. You're gonna do it properly. And our use of colors, in our symbols, in our textiles, our hairstyles, and things like that. It's very vibrant. It's different in the UK because it also depends on kind of classes and places in the UK as well, what class you use and things like that. But there's the idea of the stiff upper lip, and you just keep things internal, and you don't overexpress yourself. But then, like I said, I'm a Londoner, so we're loud. So
We are here to celebrate Zimbabwe, and Dr. Amu does that best. She's here to share her experiences across the world, traveling to Timbuktu, to Alaska. It is Fun Africa experience. Here is what she has to say. We were just tapping into your adventures around Africa. The transportation levels that came with your experiences was not a very easy one, a very short one. No. Could you take us through just your trail around Africa and how that experience was traveling alone?
Yes. No, I wasn't traveling alone.
Oh, yes.
I was traveling with Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father, and the angels. That's our team. So this was quite an experience. This particular one, I had to get to Timbuktu.
Wow.
Which is in Mali, way up north. And transport-wise, finances, because I had to depend upon the provisions of God. He's a millionaire, he's the provider. I can't say much about how I moved from Zimbabwe to Zambia. It was by bus. It wasn't that expensive. Got there, my spiritual mother is in Zambia. So she said, oh, you're here, welcome. So I told her my trip. She said, I'll give you some chickens to take along with you. And we haven't tithed. We'll give you some money. Wow. And she gave me some money, of which I managed to get to a train called Tazara then, from Zambia right up to Dar es Salaam. So I I got onto this train,
Yes.
but instead of getting to Dar es Salaam, Lord, can I remember this town in Dar es Salaam, not Dar es Salaam, in Tanzania, where I got off and I had to get onto a ship.
A sheep.
Yes, because now I was on Lake Tanzania.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I got onto a ship, and you have to be strong because you meet all sorts of people selling this and sitting anywhere and all over. So
And it's just you in this lake.
with my small suitcase. So we sat until I better write a book, until I got to this town, got off, and I wanted to go to Burundi now, where there were spiritual children of mine, and there was war. So there was no transport between Tanzania and Burundi. So they told me these World Food Transport, they go there. So they showed me where I should wait for transport. Waited, no buses coming. But there was this big truck that came. And, Mom, where are you going? I said, I'm going to this Burundi UNHCR.
Yes.
So the lady says, where do you come from? I said, from Zimbabwe. She says, you are my mother-in-law. Because my boyfriend comes from Zimbabwe. Oh, driver, I'll pay for this lady.
Oh, wow.
So I said, thank you. Then we were on this truck. Got to Burundi. And it took me to these spiritual children of mine who said, wow, we haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
We are blessing you with, they blessed me with 500 US dollars. And I said, Lord, I'm tired of being in the inns. You know an inn?
No. Oh, the sleeping places?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's much smaller, convenient for that night. So I got to, from Burundi, then I went to Uganda. Amazing. By road, I'm on the road.
Oh my gosh.
I'm on the road.
Yeah.
And at one point, the bridge had, fell off, broken, so we couldn't cross.
Okay.
And now I was wondering, what then? What do I do in this empty land? But somehow, by His grace, we managed to go across and got to Uganda. Lovely people. The man at the immigration said, Mom, you are so much of a blessing. I'll not just give you 4 or 5 days. I'll give you 1 month. Please stay in Uganda and bless us.
Oh, wow.
So there I was in Uganda. And then from Uganda, it was now Tanzania, then Kenya. It was now traveling from Kenya to Ethiopia.
Wow.
Because of the war, I couldn't get buses, ordinary buses. So one gentleman says, you can get transport from this town. If you can manage to get to this town, you'll be able to get to Ethiopia. It was now at this place that, thank you, Lord Jesus, big trucks that carry cattle.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm looking at it. I've never been on one. I don't even know how to get onto one.
Let's start there. Yeah.
So I told the driver, I don't know how to get onto. So, it's take it or leave it. But as for us, those who can, let's move on.
It's like either we're leaving you, ma'am, or
yeah. You better sort yourself out.
Yeah.
But somebody was merciful to really help me get onto the truck. I won't even mention, thank you, Holy One of Israel, the woman issue. And you're on those trucks. And at times you have to get off the truck and onto the truck. I decided to fast. But you know, when you are in that kind of space, we become like family. Mom, you're not eating. You're not eating.
Yeah.
And I knew I had a program.
Thank you so much for joining us on Africa Beyond Borders. You're still with me, Saraya Mentor, but for now, I'll be waving goodbye because we'll be continuing our season 3 in September. Join us again to share and see many more African stories that are being celebrated and celebrating culture and identity. Check out our social media pages at africabeyondborders.ntv, and you can see or possibly DM if you want to share your story as well on Africa Beyond Borders. From me, Saraya, have a good season. I can't wait to see you guys soon.